a quick review of Django. And again, over the course of the next 3 days, we're not really building out an entire Django application. We're just utilizing Django's built-in ORM. So we always hear this term like applications, but in Django, it's the nomenclature is a little bit differently. So when we decide to build a Django application, we're really building a Django project. And a Django project can have many applications within it. So inside of our virtual environment, we create our Django project. Inside of our Django project, we can have multiple applications. And we'll get into all that once we actually start building all the stuff from scratch. So if you want to break down like Amazon as a Django project, Amazon is the Django project. All the different little apps within Amazon, such as like the consumer checkout, Amazon Alexa, the ordering system, the inventory management system, Amazon Photos, music, all the services that they provide can be considered a Django app, whereas Amazon as a whole is the entire Django project. What questions do you have about that? So if Amazon actually utilized Django, they would break out all these little apps. Not in reality, it's a lot more complicated and they have a lot more systems, but no. So again, we're going to be doing this so much that it's going to be kind of second nature as far as the different command lines that we're going to be using. But the first thing you want to do is create a Django or create a virtual environment and then go into that virtual environment. So you're now in this little bubble. So now your entire project is protected and your outside applications are protected. Then you'll want to go ahead and install Django. So pip install Django. And now we get into the specific Django command lines or the Django commands to actually interact with Django. So the first thing you want to do is start project. So Django admin start project followed by the project name. And then once you create a project, you're going to want to create an app within that project. So that's when Python manage.py start app name. And your entry point into your Django apps or your Django app is always through the manage.py file. So you're going to be doing Python manage.py followed by some other command. And that's where, that's how you're going to be interacting with your Django app majority of the time. And we're going to be doing this over and over again. So the manage.py is the entry point into your application. We have our settings.py file, and this is where we're going to link our Postgres database, add our apps to our Django projects or Django project, and any other configurations, whether it's environmental variables where you want to reroute to, what are some other things, depending on how you want to your password, like you can add certain password rules, like password protected rules as far as like what you require a user to type in for their password. So you can make it more strict or less strict. Just a lot of configuration that goes into your settings.py file. So once we create a Django app, so we have like this app one, we get all these different directories that you might see. So we have views, templates, migrations, URLs, forms, serialized. Some of these don't exist yet. Some of these will be creating from scratch once we actually get into building it. But right now, we just want to focus on our models and our migrations directories. Those are what we're going to be focusing on in the next 3 days. Don't worry about anything else within there, within the Django project or app, just the models and migrations. And so over the course of the from Tuesday, today, and Saturday, we're going to be interacting with Django's ORM. So there's Django as a framework, but Django has a built-in ORM that allows us to interact with the Postgres database using Python. And ORM stands for Object Relational Mapping. And essentially it takes our models.py file, which we define our models in pure Python code. And then when we migrate them, it converts that into SQL, and it maps it over to a relational database. So it takes Python code, maps it over, and converts it to SQL to inject into our relational database. Any questions on ORM, the models, and how we're doing that?
Oh. Will it be common to break the classes up into separate files and then just include them in the models?
No, you're going to be doing that all in the same models.py file.
Okay.
All right. So here's like an example of creating a student model. So you should be pretty familiar with OOP. So in our models.py file, we create a class, a student class. We inherit from the models.model class that we import from the Django. So from Django database, import the models module. And we're not doing any initializing. We're not building out any methods yet. We're never going to do the def, dunder, init method when we're defining models. The syntax is more straightforward. It's just we create our class student, and then right under there, we create what looks like class variables, where a name represents each column, and then the field of that column. So like student name, we have our name field. It's going to be a char field with a max length of 200. Email, it could be an email field, or it could be an integer field, whatever kind of field you need there. And whatever attributes or arguments that must be passed in to that field. So what happens, we create our models, pure Python, we run Python manage.py, make migrations. This app name, we can make migrations for the entire project, or we can target specific apps within our project. So this app name is optional. So if we had a student app or like a school app, we can do Python manage.py, make migrations, and target the school app, or we can just do Python manage.py and make migrations, and it'll run the migrations or create a migration script for the entire project. And what that does is actually make a migration script. And when we actually execute Python manage.py migrate, it takes that migration script and actually converts it and runs, converts it to SQL and runs it through the ORM and into our Postgres database. And you'll never want to touch these files or this file, the migrations script file. But yeah, any questions on kind of how that process?
So if you go back and you change your models, you'll have to do a new migration, I'm sure.
Yep.
Will that create a new migrations initial PY file?
Yep. So if you do this multiple times, you'll see it's like 001_initial.py. And then if you change your models again, you run that migration script again, it's going to create another one like 002_, and then the naming of that won't be initial anymore. It'll actually be a descriptor of what you changed in your models. So if you changed your student model and the email field or whatever, it'll say something, it'll name it similar to what you actually changed. And then you'll have to migrate again. And you can keep on creating all these different migration scripts every time you change your student model. Yeah. All right. Any questions on this? And we're going to go back to this after we actually do the challenge. But with that, let's actually start that challenge. So we're in Django ORM. Should have gone through this, the Django queries. We also have we got the Django docs, Django query cheat sheet, which we might use. But yeah. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to fork this over. So I'm going to fork it over to Tom Preet. I'm going to Django queries 2. let's see. All right. So I'm on Tom Preet Django queries. Now I'm going to git clone this down. Copy that over. I'm in, let's zoom in a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to do git clone Django queries. It's kind of a lot. That's a lot. All right. So I'm going to list everything out. You're going to see my Django queries challenge right there. I'm going to CD into Django queries and open this up into a new VS Code. Uh-oh, what happened? That was weird. Don't save. So I'm going to open that up into a new VS Code window. There we go. All right. So we can read through this. So what we did was clone down an already existing Django project. So we don't need to do any of these commands to create like a new Django project because we already have one. That's what we cloned down. Do that later. All right. So inside of here, we have ORM queries. I actually dislike how there's like a parent directory called, which is the name of my Django project. And then inside of there, there's another directory that's actually my Django project with the settings.py file. And then we have got this products. So I actually don't like this. And I'll show you, did Chad kind of show you how to essentially move all this onto one level?
I
I don't
so.
think so.
Okay.
No.
All right, we'll do it when we go over today's actual lecture. Because some people like it like this, some people don't. All right, so in here we have our Django project. ORM queries is our Django project. Whatever the settings.py file is, that's essentially where our Django project is located at. Our manage.py file is always going to be at the same level as our Django project and whatever apps we have. So we also have the products app. So this is a Django app called products. And inside of our settings.py file, you can see down here, we have our products app that's already inside of our settings.py file. So that's how we link our products, Django app products to our actual Django project. It's through the settings.py file. You can scroll down here. Looks like we're using a Postgres database with a Postgres database called ORM queries. We don't actually have to create one on our own because our test file is going to do all that for us. But yeah. But what's one thing we actually have to do? Where is my Django project located, or where is it not in right now?
Virtual environment.
I need to create a virtual environment. So I'll do python-make venv. I can call my virtual environment whatever I want, but I'm just going to keep it as a venv. So I created that virtual environment right there. Nope. Now I can go into my virtual environment by running source venv bin activate to activate my virtual environment. And now you can see that is activated because I'm in my virtual environment.
Hey, Tom, quick question.
Yep.
That message that popped up where it says, like, do you want to add to your workflow or workspace or something like that? You said no to that. Is there any reason why you said no?
I don't. It might mess up what my current configuration is. I haven't done it before. So I know what I'm doing now is working. So I don't want to have VS Code do anything differently at the moment.
Okay.
That's the only reason why.
I have a quick question about how you did your virtual environment.
Yep.
I wasn't sure about this, so I created the virtual environment first and then cloned into the virtual environment. Is there any difference one way or the other? Or?
Nope, because you're not actually cloning in your virtual environment. You're actually cloning. So wait, you'd go into your virtual environment and clone?
Yeah, I think so, because
Like
I
you'd
wasn't sure how
CD
to
and-
make to have the Django project be inside my virtual environment. I didn't know I could do it outside of it. like that.
So you'd actually go into your virtual environment like that.
Yeah, I believe I first thing I did was create my virtual environment, and then I did everything else.
So so either like I could still do this. I can delete my Django queries. I can delete. So it's if you want to create your virtual environment first, that's fine. But don't don't clone it in your virtual environment like that. Just because it's in your virtual environment doesn't mean it's actually in your virtual environment, because you actually have to open up your virtual environment or activate your virtual environment. So I can technically have this virtual environment at the very top level of my application and have everything in there and still have things executed correctly. But you want to have your virtual environment on the same level as your Django project. So I would get used to cloning things first, or first creating your Django project. Or I'm sorry, first creating your virtual environment, sourcing into it, and then creating your Django project. But don't like physically put your ORM queries inside of your virtual environment.
Okay, yeah, I didn't do that. I was just
Okay.
wondering if it mattered if you started the Django project first
No,
before you did the virtual environment.
no. All right. So since we already have an existing Django project, we need to actually install all the dependency packages. And that's what's in this requirements.txt file. So inside of here, we have all of our dependencies on here. So we're using Django 3.1.7. I think we're actually on Django 4 now. So that, because if you install Django 4, it might be not, some of the stuff that might not work correctly. So make sure you're using Django 3.1.7. So in order to do that, you can do pip is it install -r requirements.txt. This requirements.txt file is very similar to in JavaScript, the package.json file that holds all your JSON packages. And I want to install this while I'm activated or while I'm inside my virtual environment. So I'm going to run that. All right. Hopefully everything works.
So how would you generate a like you start a project from scratch and you want to create a requirements.txt? Is there a way to generate one?
Yeah, there is one. I don't know off the top of my head. It's like Python. Yeah, like just create requirements txt Django. Automatically create. I forgot what the. Nope, that's not it. Yeah, pip freeze. That's all it is. Pip freeze. Angle bracket into our requirements.txt, and that will automatically create that txt file like this with the dependencies in there.
Okay. That came with when we cloned down this project, that was already there, but
Yep.
if we were creating a Django project, we'd have to make our own, correct?
Only if you wanted other people to, if you like push it up and you wanted other people to use it, yeah. But if you're just using it on your local machine, you don't have to create a requirements.txt file. All right. So let's actually inspect our app. So our products app. So in our products app, we have an already existing model with a bunch of different fields on it. So manufacturer, model, category, and all these different field types. So like integer field, text field, float. Yeah, time zone. Now, then we have this other file, which is what we're going to actually be writing our code in. And this is typically not associated with actually Django project. This is just, again, to get you familiar to practice your Django queries. Then we have this testing file, and our goal is to pass all these test specs. So if we look down here, we've got what, 19 or something, 19 tests. So we'll try to do this relatively quickly. But in order to run them, we can run Python manage.py test or test fail fast. So I'll just do Python manage.py test -- fail fast. Nope. All right. So it's like no such file directory. So I need to be on the same level as the manage.py file. So I'm currently not on the same level as that manage.py file. So I need to go into ORM queries, list everything out. There's that manage.py file. So now I can start executing commands on the manage.py file. So creating a test database, one failed. All right. So product CRUD. So if I look over here, my test, get all products, returns all the products. So looks like I've got product CRUD, get all products. And then, so I've got product CRUD, get all products. Again, this is a class. We're creating class methods. So I can call this get all products on not just an instance of a class. I can just call it directly on a class, which is the product CRUD class. So here I can actually just, where'd it go? Start writing these. So can someone just blurt out what the Django query should be to return all the products?
Return product.objects.all.
Product.objects. So anytime you're running a query, it's the class dot objects. So always it's dot objects, dot whatever method there is. So if I run that. All right, so it looks like that first one passed. Now the second one, find by model. All right, so I'm looking down here, find the matching product by model name. So I need to create a find by model method. So I can say at class method, def find by model, which this is a class method. And I'll just say model name because it takes in a model name such as heavy duty steel clock. And now I can, how do I get a record by the model name?
Need a parameter, model name, which you have.
All right. So if I look at my models, there's my model. So I'm grabbing it by the model name. If I want to look at, where is it? Got and methods that do not return query sets, which is good because we don't want query sets. We just want an individual query. I can look at, ooh, this looks like this document is for insecure. See how old this one is. So document 3. I'll just use get. I'm sure it hasn't changed yet. So I can do get by ID or get by like the by the field name. So blog. So I can do just return product.objects.get model equals model name. See if that one worked. All right, looks like I got 2 passing now. Now the third one is an error. So let's look at the third one. So last record. So I need to do add a class method. Def last record takes in the class. And I think it's just return product dot objects. Is it last?
It's last.
Cool. Clear, and then run that. All right, so we've got 3 passing now. So now by rating. So let's go down to number 4. So we need to create a by rating. I'm just going to copy that one down. By rating. It takes in a rating. And so product CRUD. So it looks like this might be a query set because it looks like it grabs all like a list. It should return a list. Just call it product rating. And then product.objects dot. Does anybody know off the top of their head?
Filter.
Oh, so it's filter. Is it rating equals
Rating equals rating.
product rating?
Yeah, product rating.
Yeah, so you can have that as rating as well. Should still work. But I just want to keep it separate just so these two are different so people don't get confused. So run that. All right, cool. Down to 5. So by rating and range. So we got at class method. Def by rating range, and we'll take in by rating range. So it's between 2. So it's a class method. I'll just do like low and high. So it's between these two, 1.1 and 1.5. All right, return product the objects dot. Does anybody know? Filter. Now, how do we do this? So Django query between 2 values. I don't know. We got Stack Overflow. We have filter. Let's actually look at what we got here. So they've got a field. So I begin int, I begin end. All right, so I begin int. What does this GTE stand for? And LT.
Greater than or equal to.
All right.
Yeah, less than.
And it's like, all right, I'm GTE, Django. I don't know what that means. Query set API. I'll do a double under GTE. Oh, does it actually? I'm looking. Doesn't even say. Sure, it's got to say somewhere in here. But yeah. All right, here we go. So GT greater than and GTE greater than or equal. So here's a little example, greater than. All right, cool. So we can do rating greater than or equal to equals low, or rating double under less than or equal to high. Clear the terminal on that. All right, past that one. Now we've got one by rating and color. So rating 3.5, color maroon.
Good question. I use,
Yes.
instead of using the GTE, I use range.
And did it work?
Yep.
All right.
That's
Yes.
a range function.
So we have a range. Okay, so publish date, it's inclusive. So range will work if it's inclusive, which in that case, that would work. Yeah, so that would definitely work as well, because there's multiple ways to do it. So yeah, definitely. So if you use range, that definitely works as well. Yeah, good job on that. So by rating, so we got range and product rating. I'll just do rating and color. So we got rating equals rating. Whoa. And is it color on here? So we've got price, color. Color equals color. Oh, wait, hold on. By rating or color. Is that right? Well, let's run it and see, find out. All right, hold on. Oh, what am I looking at? By rating and color. Oh, there we go. So by rating or, that's why. I'm gonna have to do this one next anyway. So I'm gonna bring that one down here. I'm gonna do rating and color. Run that one. So that 6 should have passed. Uh-oh, what happened? List. Oh, yeah. So if I didn't do that one yet, let's fail that one quick. All right, so yeah, now we're on 7. So by rating or color. So how do we do or?
Single pipe.
Yeah, pipe.
Let's see. Is it a single pipe?
Yes.
So if I do by rating like that.
We did a whole nother statement.
I put the whole nother statement in there.
Yeah,
I used
product
Q
filter
to combine them.
rating or product.objects.filter.
Oh, is that what Q meant? Okay, cool.
Yeah, let's see what Q. I'm trying to find Q. So Q, where is it? It can be used in a database. It's similar to how an F function, such as, so they make it possible to define and reuse conditions and combine them using operators such as or and statements.
So instead
So-
of having to write 2 statements, I could just use the Q and combine them.
Yep. So Q, combine that surrounding it. Then Q. Oh, I just messed that up.
You gotta
Alright.
import Q, I
And
think.
then I
You
got
do
to
have to import
whoop.
Q.
So I need to, is it from Django models? No, Django
Dot
DB
DB.
models, import Q. So that's how we can do or. So do that. There we go. And there used to be a easier, like a better description of Q somewhere. I don't know. But so yeah, just so you know, if you need to do or statements, Q is the way to go. But if you got it to work anyway, using another query, that's also totally okay. So class method for 7, find by rating or color. Did I just do that one? All right, so 8, yeah, 8 by no color count. So product CRUD, def, no color count, class method. How do I do this one? So return product dot objects. What we got?
Filter.
Filter. Whoop.
So I have
Color
color
none.
double underscore is null equals true.
Is null.
Yes. And then outside the parentheses dot count.
Dot count like so.
Yes.
Do I need to do?
You can do color equals none.
Oh, well, the
Or-
is null equal should be equals true, or you could do color equals none. Yeah.
Oh, equals true.
Yes.
All right. Or you said equals none. Because that's what null is anyway.
Yeah.
Or that's what it shows up in our database. All right. Come on. Great, it broke. No color count. Objects. It's a common mistake. It's not plural. There we go. So we've got color equals none or color under is null equals true. Dot count. So we can do grab the count of like, hey, you want to know how many users didn't log in the last 3 months? All right. You can run like a filter dot count on it. All right. Price, below price or above rating. All right, so we've got at class method, def, class method. So below price, above. Whoop. Oh my gosh, I love when I do that. Above rating. All right, I can do return product dot objects dot filter. And this is, anybody have one?
Q.
Q. So what is it? Below price. So price cents less
Under.
than
LT yeah, equals price. You're below price.
equals below price.
You have the parenthesis after less than.
What am I looking at?
Right where your cursor is, just backspace.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Or Q. What is it?
Rating. Under GT.
Greater than equals above rating. It looks like that is not indented. All right, so test 10, so we're almost there. So this is where things get kind of fun. All right, so order, that's a long ass method name. Def class method return product dot objects dot, what do we want to do? So return products ordered by category alphabetically and descending price. So what do we do here?
Order by, order underscore by, and it takes 2 arguments.
So do you just do objects dot all? Grab all
Objects
the objects.
dot ordered by. I didn't do it dot all.
Order by.
Yeah.
And then
And, category, and then comma price cents, and just have a negative sign for price cents. Okay.
price underscore cents. See if this works. All right. Yeah, that worked. Sweet. All right. So 11. So return products made by manufacturers with names containing an input string. That's fun. All right. At class method. So def, what is it? Manufacturing names query. Takes in a class and like a name like, then return product. Whoop, dot objects dot filter, and was it the manufacturer name? I contains. Does that sound right?
I just use contains.
Names name like. Is there a difference between contains and I contains?
Case
Yeah,
sensitive.
I contains isn't case sensitive.
All right, so yeah, so if we don't want it to be case sensitive, we can use, so there's contains, case sensitive containment or case insensitive containment. I'm gonna do insensitive, just so if people decide to capitalize everything, that's fine. See if that works. Oh, looks like oh no, that worked. So double or under contains or I contains. All right, returns a list of manufacturer names for query. Did I do that one already? With names containing an input string. Returns a list of manufacturer names that match a query. So at class method. Def manufacturer names for query, class name, name, I don't know. Return product dot objects. What do we have here? Pretty much the same thing as
Filter.
this one.
Manufacturer names for query. Yeah, I had a filter.
I use
The manufacturer.
values list.
Did you use a values list after this?
No,
Yeah.
I just,
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
So if we just do,
so you could use it either or. I'd use the filter after.
Oh,
I
okay,
used the
so-
values list and then filtered it.
okay, yeah, so you can do filter or the values list, then manufacturer. Flat equals true.
Yes.
And what does that do?
Oh, I have to look that up again.
Anybody?
Returns a single value, I believe.
I think, let's look at values list.
I think it converts it from,
It's like a nested. So values list, notice how if you just use values list here without the flat equals true, it returns a tuple. So it returns like a query set, like an array of tuples essentially. Well, flat equals true just returns it like a list with just the manufacturer. So it won't be like almost like a nested list. If you do flat equals true, I just want to see if this does. Yeah, so right here, here's an example. So a query set has a list of tuples. If you do flat equals true, it just turns it into like a normal list, which is what we want. Now, if we didn't, so let's actually change this just for, if we actually put parentheses around those, I mean, this should work, and remove that flat equals true. That should still work.
I think you have a spelling error in the values list manufacturer.
Oh, man. Did I spell it right that time? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where is it? Test 11. Oh, what the hell? Wait a second. Got names for query. Did I? not do that one. Must have changed something. There we go. So this still works. So if I changed all that to a tuple, because that's what's actually returning, if it doesn't have a value or flat equals true. But we want flat equals true because we just want a list of manufacturer names. All right. So 13, not in a category. So I'm just going to copy this down. Oh. Not in a category. Category. I'm just going to try to hurry this up. So I'm going to do product.objects.exclude category equals category, like so. Clear. Run that. So we're on 14 now. So limited, not in a category. So we got limited, not in a category. What we got here? Return products that are not in a category up to a limit. So not in a category, you got category and I guess like amount or limit. So we're going to exclude category up to an amount. So this returns everything. And now we're actually just slicing that query set up to this amount. If we run that, 15 tests failed or 14 tests passed, 15 failed. So returns an array of manufacturers for a category. So category manufacturer. So we got class method def what category? I think class method category. So array of manufacturers for a category. So return product dot objects dot filter category. I think we already kind of did something similar to this. Equals category dot values list manufacturer flat equals true. So the difference is instead of the manufacturer contains, we're just doing it via the category. Oh, what happened? So it looks like turns an array of categories.
There's a misspelling of manufacturer.
I love spelling. I'm just gonna copy it. Thank you. So we've got average category rating at class method def average category rating. Returns the average. So average category rating takes in the category and returns product dot objects dot filter category equals category. Does anybody have what
Aggregate.
aggregate
And then you need that, you need to import average.
rating? So we can import the average by running from Django.db. Well, I guess like I'm already doing that. So I can also import average. Is there anything else I'm gonna have to import?
Max.
Max
Max.
and length. Oh, no, that's,
A different import.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think max is 2.
Let's see where we at. Average category by rating. We just did that one. Let's actually run that, see if it passed. Then we only have 3 more. All right. Greatest price. All right. At class method. Ooh. I don't think I'm passing anything in there. Def greatest price. Class method. Return product. Dot objects. Dot order by. Did anybody do order by first? So order by. Is this where that length came in?
This one, I use the aggregate max.
Okay. Oh, nope. Yep, you're right. I'm working on a different one. Aggregate. Max. And it's price cents. So we're aggregating them all and we're grabbing the maximum value from that. All right. Now longest model name. Def longest model name. Takes in the class method, and this is where the one. So product.objects, we're going to order by. And this is where you're going to grab the length of the model name. And we're putting them in descending order. And we're going to grab the values list. ID flat equals true. And we're going to grab that very first one from there. And in order to import that, we have to import length, functions, import length. So order buying the length of the model name, putting them in descending order, flattening them out. It doesn't really matter. We can flatten them out by, we're just doing it by ID. And that should work. There we go. And last one is return products ordered by the length of their model. Didn't I just do that one? No, longest model name. So order by, I'm just going to copy that one down there. All right. This one, pretty simple, same thing. 18th was the more difficult one, but it's just order by their model name. Run that. And they all should have passed. What did you all think of this challenge? Was it fun, difficult, fun reading? Pretty straightforward.
Once I got going, it wasn't so bad. Early on, like realizing what you were dealing with the query sets was tough, but once it got rolling and once it got a little bit more difficult, it wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
It was just tedious because I had to look up every single thing because it was everything in there was new. All of the queries were new.
Yep. No. Yeah, it's 100%. It's majority of it's reading. Just like, all right, what do I have available to me? What built-in methods, queries do I have for me?
So is every ORM query going to be a class method?
Yeah. Or so typically you won't actually be writing your own class methods like this or your queries. You'll just do it like you'll actually just run this directly in the view. You're not more often than not going to create your own class method like this. It'll just be a basic method, if anything. But typically you'll just run your query set or your query directly in the method that you're grabbing the data from and also returning it.